The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start another week of the Clarence Buzz Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity, we had to spend some time with you a number of days ago. We start today's show talking about a couple of troubling events that transpired over the last week. In the capital city of East Baton Rouge, the city of Baton Rouge, recently, 5 juveniles escaping from the juvenile detention center here in town. These young men were able to fashion a shank weapon, homemade weapon, if you will, to use in overpowering the guards before stealing a guard's vehicle to make their escape. As we speak, 4 of the 5 have been apprehended. As a matter of fact, 1 was scheduled for a court appearance yesterday morning. But what for me is much more disturbing than these individuals constructing a weapon, stealing a vehicle after overpowering guards and making their escape. What is most troubling to me is that all 5 of these juveniles were being held on either a charge of murder, attempted murder, or a violent armed robbery. 5 juveniles, y'all, held either on murder, attempted murder, or violent armed robbery charges. I have no idea, no information regarding the total number of juveniles currently being held at the East Baton Rouge Juvenile Detention Center. But to think, however many individuals are being incarcerated at this juvenile detention facility, 5 of them being held for either murder, attempted murder, or violent armed robbery. It is yet another example of how our young people are speaking to us. I have no idea what the home life of any of these five happens to be. But conventional wisdom says if something isn't done in the very near future to correct the errant path that they're on, as it stands right now, you and I, taxpayers, regular folks, will be dealing with these five and the criminal justice system and supporting them for the rest of their natural lives. It is typically the early formative years of a child's life that will determine what their path in life is going to be. Not exclusively. We all know, we've seen, we've heard individuals that we never thought would be anything other than a criminal turn their lives around. So there's still hope. Don't get it twisted. There's still hope. But without some serious intervention on behalf of these young people, we will probably end up hearing their names again, and it won't be in a good way. When you're talking juveniles, 5 of them, and God only knows how many others are being held under similar charges, either murder, attempted murder, or violent armed robbery. Our kids are speaking to us, y'all, in no uncertain terms. Meanwhile, it is the time of year where all of the football kingdom, be it high school, college, celebrates homecoming. It's a time where individuals that have matriculated at these various institutions come back and show their support, take part in activities, et cetera, and cheer on the old alma mater. In the last week, at the 2 HBCUs here in the state of Louisiana, Southern University and Grambling State, there were 3 shootings on campus. 2 at Grambling State University, 1 at Southern University. Sadly, the one at Grambling State resulting in a murder charge, a fatality. Southern, fortunately, no one killed, everyone expected to survive. Now listen, y'all, I get it. I know it's a different day. But aside from the actual acts of violence themselves, it's bothersome. You know, when I was a young lad and went up to Southern University for whatever, to watch my dad work with the ROTC cadets, to go and sell concessions during Southern football games, whatever the reason was, the minute you set foot on campus, you took on a whole different mentality. Of course, now, we were taught then by parents that had an appreciation for education, we were taught that you take on a different mindset the minute you set foot on these grounds. Because this place, university, is populated by young people who want to improve their lives. It's populated by young people who want better for themselves than their parents had. They want to acquire knowledge. They want to acquire wisdom. They want to be better people. Those that were not students, professors, Their main focus was helping young people become better people. So when you set foot on campus, automatically you elevated your game. Your mindset was completely different because you were, allegedly, among the best and the brightest and those who aspired to be that. It says something that none of the shootings, the two at Grambling, the one at Southern, involved university students. But it saddens me to think that individuals going on to a university campus apparently didn't think that way. I'm going to conduct myself a certain way because, after all, look at these buildings, look at these people, look at these individuals striving for greatness, striving to be better. And what am I doing? Taking someone's life, attempting to take someone's life. And in the case at Grambling State, where the murder happened, it's compounded because now a young person is dead. That person will never live out their full potential, never have the opportunity to be what they could have been in this country. But in addition to that, when the perpetrator is caught, that individual is facing a charge of second-degree murder. And in case you didn't know, in the state of Louisiana, a conviction for second-degree murder is a mandatory sentence. There's no two ways about it. It is mandatory. Conviction of second-degree murder is life in prison with no probation, no pardon, no parole. So now, another young black male murdered, and when the perpetrator is caught, another young black male will go off to Angola for the rest of his natural life. Our kids are speaking to us, y'all. And the fact of the matter is, you either have to be blind or are willingly closing your eyes not to see it. On the campuses of our institutions of higher learning, of all places, this wasn't in a bar, this wasn't on a street corner. This is a place where we send those who want to be better. Says a lot about us, y'all. We're coming up on our first break of today's show. When we come back, it is Tuesday, second segment. That means, yep, it's time for another edition of Not As Just Stupid. That's next when we continue the Clarence Bug Show here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club.
a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you are new to the show, the station, the area, you may not be aware that we have, in response to the ever-growing level of stupidity in this country, initiated a new segment entitled, "Now That's Just Stupid." You'll notice, however, we're not talking ordinary, garden variety, run-of-the-mill stupid. That would traditionally be the STUPID. What we're talking about here, as the spelling on the graphic shows you, an entirely different level of stupid. Hence the spelling STOOPID, as in, now that's just stupid. We start this segment with a group called Campus Reform. They're the group that goes around the country to various college campuses, and they interview the student body, asking questions about social issues, things of that nature, to find out what our young people are thinking. Of course, now in today's world, as you well know, one of the hottest buzz phrases, buzzwords, social trends is diversity. We have to have diversity. We have to reflect whatever the geographical makeup is, demographic-wise, in every aspect of our lives. You've seen it in movies and television and the workplace and et cetera, et cetera. So Campus Reform went around asking whether schools and the workplace should have diversity quotas. And of course, you already know, if it's young people and you ask them about diversity in school or the workplace, you already know what the answer is going to be. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got to have that. You know, we have to make up for systemic racism and this, that, and the other, and you know, it's just something that we have to come to terms with. So after interviewing student after student after student and getting the typical talking point answer, they then flipped the script and said, okay, so based on what you said in school and in the workplace, we should go out of our way to ensure diversity. What about in athletics? Let's say football. You could see the wheels starting to grind, not turn, grind. Well, no. I mean, in football, you need to let the skill shine through. The person with the most skill is the person that should be on the field. So they looked at the roster of the Florida Gators and told the students, okay, now, if we go the diversity route, as you said we should in school, football team, athletics, that's a part of the school. That means we should replace this number of starters, and we should have other ethnicities represented in the place of those we take out. No, they wasn't buying that. But what is so troubling about this, and frankly quite stupid, you don't have to be Einstein to figure this one out, y'all. And the fact of the matter is, athletics is no different than anything else. It's no different from the workplace. The two are identical. You know what it's called? Life. Get the best person for the job. It shouldn't matter if they're black, white, Latino, Asian, whatever. If they're the best person, they are the best person. At the end of the day, all you do is harm yourself and the rest of society when you buy into the narrative. And quite frankly, in case for my white liberal friends watching right now, in case you don't know, it's insulting to black people to say, well, we need to have diversity, because what you're saying in a closeted sort of way is that, bless their little old hearts, black people can't do things that everybody else can do, so they need special consideration. Nothing could be further from the truth. But to soothe that ever-present white guilt, to, for whatever reason, make some group of people feel better about themselves, well, let's discriminate against another group to fix discrimination. You can't make this stuff up. What they really should have done, after all of these students at the University of Florida said, well, yeah, we need diversity in the workplace and in school, but not on the football field. They should have asked them, what's different from the football team and the workplace? The Supreme Court ruled recently, which is why we now have the NIL rule, name, image, likeness. The highest court in the land has ruled that student athletes are, in fact, employees of the school. So if they are employees of the school, does that not make that the workplace? And you did say, students, it should be mandatory to have diversity in the workplace. That's their workplace. Duh. Or in other words, now that's just stupid. Secondly, wouldn't be this segment without the federal government weighing in, because stupid is as stupid does. You by now, I'm sure, are aware of the serious problems in our country with the supply chain. We're having massive problems getting ships in, unloading them at the dock, putting them on trains and trucks, and distributing these goods all around the country where they need to go so they can be purchased by you and I, consumers. Well, It was announced last week that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been off from work for 2 months now, 8 weeks. Pete Buttigieg has been off for 2 months taking paternity leave so that he can help his husband with their 2 new babies. You heard me right. What's interesting here is, as an agency head, he is not eligible for accrued leave. The guy has been head of the transportation department for 6 months and then took off 2 months. Oh, and by the way, says that he'll continue to be out in the weeks to come to help his husband and their 2 new babies. Now, the only way this happens is you have to have approval from the president to take this time off. Because again, as an agency head in the federal government, you're not eligible for accrued leave. So apparently somebody in the White House said, well, hey man, take long as you need. Ain't no big deal. We got it covered. In the meantime, you been to the grocery store lately? In the meantime, have you looked at the price of gas at the pump recently? In the meantime, have you noticed the price of everything going through the roof? And just this morning, a number of economists coming out and saying, y'all better get ready. Not only are the higher prices going to be here a while, we may be flirting with a recession in the near future. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you, bruh. And thank y'all for voting Democrat. How's that working out? Just a question. Just a question. Coming up on our bottom of the hour break. Obviously, the other big news, LSU and Coach O deciding it is time to part ways. We'll talk about that and more as we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to segment 3 of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Obviously, the big sports story for our area this past weekend was the announcement that our state's flagship university, Louisiana State University, and head coach for the football Fighting Tigers, Ed Orgeron, agreeing to part ways at the end of the season. I don't know how many people can honestly say they saw that coming when it happened. It is part and parcel of what coaching has become in America these days. It is it's almost inconceivable that you could register what is arguably the greatest season in the history of the game and turn around and be fired this quickly. Now, don't get it twisted. Let me say right up front, Coach O did not make it any easier on himself. Considering the Title IX implications, considering a number of other factors that did not paint him in the eyes of some in the most flattering of lights, it's understandable. I personally feel sorry for the program and the school and many of the fans that loved Coach O. Personalities aside, many of us were simply enchanted with the idea of finally having one of our own as the head coach. As the state's flagship university, as a nationally recognized program, for Louisiana folks to look to the head of the program and see a guy that talks like we do, to interact with the guy that appreciates our culture, to be around a guy that has no greater love for that institution and this state, was something that tons of Louisianians gravitated toward and had just an awesome feeling about. Now, you also have to understand, when you are talking about paying the kind of money that we pay coaches these days, there's no wiggle room. There is none. We have long since gotten away from coaches, more than anything else in life, being makers of men. We are now in an era where it's all about winning. Just win. There was a time in this country where we would be satisfied, whatever the record was, if the coach was graduating the overwhelming percentage of players. There was a time we would be happy where there were no scandals in the program. Yeah, our record could have been better, but at the end of the day, look how many kids got a degree. Look how many places we went and there were no incidents. The kids represented themselves, their families, the university with dignity and pride. All of that now has been pushed to the wayside. It is a part of what we have become. And listen, it's no secret, y'all. We are a sports-obsessed society. It's a shame that we'll pack over 100,000 into Tiger Stadium to watch young men play a game, but ask us to show up for an academic awards ceremony. And it's nobody but family that shows up. At the end of the day, Hemingway said it best. There are only 3 sports: mountaineering, bullfighting, and automobile racing. Everything else is just a game. Now consider, to coach a team to play a game, we now have a buyout of $17 million. I'm not going to point a negative finger of blame in anybody's direction, because there's plenty of that to go around. It says a lot about what we have become as a society. So obviously now the search is on for a new guy or girl to lead the football program for our state's flagship university. I think I have enough time left in this segment. WBRZ, the ABC affiliate here in Baton Rouge, put out an article this morning saying these are the folks that we have identified as the leading candidates to replace Ed Orgeron. And these, I'm assuming, are in no specific order, just individuals that have gleaned the attention of the experts. Number 1, Mel Tucker, Michigan State, former defensive back coach under Nick Saban back in 2000. He has gained the attention of a lot of watchers. He's 9-5 in 2 seasons at Michigan State. So far this year, undefeated at 7-0 with the Spartans. He's also spent time in the NFL and as an assistant head coach and defensive backs coach for Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide. Also, James Franklin, Penn State. Franklin, according to BRZ, has SEC roots, having coached at Vanderbilt before becoming the head coach at Penn State. We won't hold that stint at Vanderbilt against him. He made the Commodores competitive in the SEC East during his time at Vanderbilt, and right now the team he leads, the Nittany Lions, they are ranked number 7 in the country. Mario Cristobal, head coach at Oregon. Cristobal has a track record of being an intense recruiter and also has ties to Nick Saban, having served on his staff at Alabama. As the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, he's won both Rose Bowls and Pac-12 titles. Thing is, with this guy, he's got a steep buyout, $9 million. Combine that with the Tigers' $17 million for Coach O, $26 million might be a little steep. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. As you well know, he has bounced around college football, but his aggressive offensive approach, and in the wake of the Joe Burrow era, might be attractive to some folks. Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. While WBRZ lists him as a person of interest, personally, I don't see that happening. I don't. When you look at the endowment, and if memory serves correct, in the entirety of the SEC, Texas A&M, I think, has the largest endowment. I think it's even larger than Vanderbilt's, which says a whole lot. I don't see that happening. Of course, now, stranger things have happened. And when it comes to the Al Davis philosophy of just win, baby. Y'all know this. This is no earth-shaking epiphany. LSU fans, and I love them, are some of the most fickle on the planet. And at the end of the day, as long as you're winning, that's all that matters. There was a time where it depended upon how you look in losing. It's okay that you lost, but did you look decent in losing? LSU fans, they don't buy that, y'all. Pure and simple. And anybody that would take that job would know that. These are all big boys. They understand when you're being paid these kinds of dollars, you better produce or you got to go. And if you don't believe me, hire the next coach. And if he doesn't win, watch what happens. The facilities are too great. The recruiting base is too great. The fan base is too ardent. They're too adamant. So it comes with the territory. And anybody that steps into that position next and doesn't know that is either blind or willingly keeping their eyes closed. Either one will get you in a lot of trouble in Tiger Town. Just saying. The final listing on WBRZ's website, Billy Napier, UL Lafayette, seen as an up-and-coming college coach, former assistant and analyst for Nick Saban at Alabama, and he has developed the Raging Cajuns into consistent winners. I only hope, Tiger Nation, that you enjoy the ride. All the consternation, all the demonization, that's not worth a hill of beans. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for the program. We want what is best for these young men. And we want what's best for the university and the state of Louisiana. Whoever it is, my encouragement, get behind them, support the team, support the new era, the new administration, and let's return LSU Fighting Tiger football to the lofty place it deserves to be. I don't think, as a Louisianian and somebody who loves that school dearly, I don't think that's asking too much. If it is, charge it to my head, not to my heart. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know what? I get it, y'all. I'm old. School. Okay? And I know just from life experience that you remember the old song, Everything Changes? Everything Must Change, I think is the technical name of the song. And there's a line in the song that says, everything must change. Nothing remains the same. And it's a song about how as society evolves, ages, you will have differing philosophies that will come up and take over, different ideas, different ideals, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe that's just a part of the human experience. But what is particularly troubling for so many Americans these days, things that have served us well since the beginning of time, ever since there's been men and women on earth, certain practices, certain ideas and ideals have served us well. It is so disheartening to watch things that anyone with half a brain would know is not only true, but it's also best for society. In recent memory, we have watched individuals try to blur the lines and in many cases completely erase the lines between the sexes. We've heard these wackos tell us, well, there's no such thing as sex. There's no such thing as gender. Well, actually, there's 60-some genders. And a guy can be a girl, and a girl can be a guy. You know, all this kind of left-wing stupidity. But what may be more troubling than that are the individuals that want to censor or deny dissenting opinions. You know, it's one thing for you to live in a parallel universe. It's one thing for you to live in an alternate reality. But to think it's okay for you to force other people to go along with your illusions of grandeur is something else entirely different. For example, recently, Instagram decided that they would censor posts from an individual by the name of Colin Wright. Colin Wright is by trade an evolutionary biologist, has a PhD, taught in academia for 12 years, and recently on Instagram posted the results of a study showing what most of us folks with a little bit of common sense already know, that physically, biological men are stronger than biological women. I mean, you know, I'm not talking Einstein. I'm not talking, theory of relativity stuff. I'm talking basic common sense. So he posted this on Instagram. The study, by the way, is entitled Transgender Women in the Female Category of Sport: Perspectives on Testosterone Suppression and Performance Advantage. It was published in Medicine and Sports in Medicine and Exercise. That's a peer-reviewed publication. It was also published shortly before the 2020 Olympics, which, by the way, had the most transgender athletes to take part than any Olympics in history. So Instagram decided that publishing the results of this peer-reviewed study amounted to hate speech, and it could not be tolerated. You know, when something that the least educated among us can look at and know it's true, when individuals want to ban that, that should tell you something. And while it's egregious in and of itself, as Americans, the right to have an opinion, even though it flies in the face of what anybody may think, and the right to express that opinion is what makes us who we are. It's what makes this country the greatest in the history of the human species. And yet, we see every single day the mainstream media, social media, going out of their way to not just deny individuals the right to have an opinion, but deny them the right to express it. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to look at things long term. What we used to call the logical progression question. Ask yourself, if this is where we are today, where are we going to be in the near future? One of the things that has endeared me so much to this country is that as an individual that for many years was denied certain freedoms, certain rights, and certain responsibilities, to have finally gained those, only to turn around and have individuals that want to take that away. And what's more scary than anything, these people, if you ask them, will tell you, well, it's for the betterment of society. If taking a right, a freedom, a liberty, not just away from Americans, but pulling that plank out of the very foundation of this nation out of place. If you can honestly think that this is helping society, then you're the problem. See, talking points aside, we as Americans had better hurry up and get back to the point of learning how to think for ourselves. We've become so lazy in this country that it's just easier to let somebody else do the thinking for us, tell me what I'm supposed to think or how I should think, and I'll just take that and run. Well, here's a question for you. How's that working out for us? Look at the state of public education in this country. Look at the state of crime in this country. Look at the lack of faith, trust, and confidence in government on all levels in this country. Look at the dissatisfaction with the direction our country is heading in. And you still think it's okay to let someone else do your thinking for you? Of course, now, I get it. A lot of y'all no longer possess the ability to think for yourself. Why? Because you long since stopped being educated, you were indoctrinated. Some of y'all not going to get that till later, but that's okay. There's a very fine line between the two. But if you are an individual that in recent memory came through the education system, I don't want to be the one to tell you how to run your life, but you might need to start engaging in some exercises to figure out if you still possess the ability to think for yourself. Just saying. 10655 Corsi Boulevard is where we shoot the show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Old school barbecue, great folks, great food, great atmosphere, and you never know who you might see when you walk through the door. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got to send out a huge hug to my man Barrett Ray, former Southern Jaguar baseball player, former coach at SU, and now the athletic director at St. Aug in New Orleans. Had the opportunity this past weekend to fill in for Ro Brown, did play-by-play on WBOK for the St. Aug homecoming, taking on the Tigers of Westgate. Good game, great homecoming win, and got to see some folks that I'd not seen in a long time. Leonard Fournette, as a matter of fact, NFL running back, happened to be there as a St. Aug alum. Good time had by all. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the entire St. Aug family. It was a big thrill. Appreciate it. That being said, my time's up, y'all, and I got to go. But this day, just like any other, maybe more so, I give it to you. You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. See you tomorrow. God bless.